Now, he disguised the father's voice to protect the identity of his son, who is a minor. Do not ignore noisy breathing in your children. This can be an indication of an airway obstruction, which could be deadly. Shemala Pullen tells us more in the health report.
When something keeps the air from moving in and out of the airways in the lungs, it's called an airway obstruction. This can happen if a child swallowed a foreign object like a toy, or it can be congenital. Ear, nose, and throat surgeon Dr. Merton Smith says the condition is common in children.
Every week, for example, at the Bustamante Children's Hospital, in the clinic, if they have 100 children being seen, about 90 of the 100 are being seen for upper ear obstruction related to enlargement of the adenoids and tonsils. And typically pre-COVID, in terms of surgical procedures, each week, about 12 children would have adenoids and tonsils removed to relieve their upper ear obstruction.
Here's what parents and guardians should look out for.
There are two main parts of the airway. You have the upper airways and the lower airways. Obstruction of the upper airways may manifest itself not just with difficulty breathing through the nose, and hence they open their mouth and mouth breathe, but they may also have nasal discharge, which in the case of foreign bodies may just be on one side. They may snore, and they may actually have spells where during sleep they actually stop breathing.
Other symptoms include a cough, hoarseness, and noisy breathing. The ENT surgeon says the condition can be serious to the point of death.
Never ignore noisy breathing. Whether the noisy breathing occurs while the child is awake or asleep, never ignore it. It is usually an indication that there's partial obstruction to the airways. Partial obstruction to the airways can result in reduced oxygen supply to the developing brain, especially when it's happening for 6-7 hours during sleep. And that can result in poor cognition and understanding and learning in the child. It can also place significant strain on the right side of the heart and can even lead to heart failure.
Which is why it's important for adults to closely monitor their children, as swift action is critical.
Even though we're in the COVID era, we still want for parents to understand and caregivers to understand that this condition is serious. It is something that can be treated. Sometimes it requires just simple observation if it's just a congenital problem, but there are times when it requires medications to reduce inflammation and to treat infections.
With your health report, I'm Shemala Pullen wishing you good health.